Okay, so you've probably heard this a million times, right? Salaries in the US are just way, way higher than in the UK. I mean, on paper, it's not even a contest. But what if I told you that big, flashy headline number is actually the least important part of the whole story? Yeah, let's really dig into this. Because the truth about who actually ends up better off, well, it might genuinely surprise you.
So, to get to the bottom of this, let's meet our two case studies. First up, we've got James. He's a 30-year-old software developer living in Austin, Texas, and he's pulling in a nice solid $75,000 a year. And then, over in Manchester, UK, we have Emma. Same age, same job, same level of experience. Her salary, £38,500. So yeah, same career, but on paper, their paychecks look like they're from different planets.
And wow, just look at that gap when you put them side by side. If we convert Emma's salary into US dollars, she's sitting at around $48,500. That means James is making nearly 60% more than she is. I mean, that seems pretty cut and dry. Case closed, right? Team USA for the win? Not quite. We're just getting started.
Because this is the question that changes everything. It's not about what your contract says, it's about what you actually have left at the end of the day. You know, what you can spend, what you can save. It's about your real, true purchasing power.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the first big cut that everyone deals with, what the government takes.
All right, let's break this down for both of them. For James in Austin, he's paying around $8,700 in federal income tax. Now, he's got a big advantage because Texas has no state income tax, which is awesome for him. But he still has to pay about $5,700 for Social Security and Medicare. Add it all up, and his total deductions are about $14,400. Now let's look at Emma. She's paying a bit over £5,000 in income tax, plus another $2,000 in what's called national insurance. That's basically the UK system for funding public services. So her total comes out to just over £7,200.
So what does that leave them with? After taxes, James is taking home about $60,500. Emma's take home, in US dollars, is around $39,300. So James is still way ahead by about 54%. It's still looking like a pretty clear victory for the US salary, but we're about to introduce the one single cost that flips this entire equation on its head.
And here it is, the game changer. Let's talk about the hidden cost of health.
I'm not kidding. This is the one factor that completely changes the conversation. It's so big, it can pretty much wipe out that 54% lead we just saw all by itself.
Okay, check this out. James, through his job, pays about $1,560 a year just for his insurance premiums. That's before he even uses it. Then you have to add in deductibles, copays. On average, that's another couple $1,000 out of his own pocket. So he's looking at spending at least $3,500 a year on health. And Emma, what does she pay for healthcare? Zero. Zilch. Nada. Her national insurance contributions, which we already took out, cover the whole thing. The National Health Service. No premiums, no copays, no getting a surprise bill in the mail.
So just like that, James's real take-home pay isn't over $60,000 anymore. It just dropped to $57,000. And that massive 54% lead he had, it just shrank to about 45%. See, the gap is closing and it's closing fast. And we're not done.
Okay, next up is something I like to call the invisible paycheck. It's a benefit that has a huge real-world value, but you never actually see it on your bank statement. I'm talking about paid time off. And this right here is one of the most mind-blowing differences between the two countries. In the UK, it is the law that every single employee gets 28 paid days off a year, period. In the United States, you want to guess what the legal requirement is? Zero. A big fat nothing. Now, of course, most companies do offer vacation time. The average is around 14 days. But it's not a legal right. And what's crazy is that almost half of Americans don't even take all the days they're given. So let's put a price on that time. If we just compare the UK's legal minimum to what the average American gets, Emma has 14 more guaranteed paid days off than James. For James to get that time off, he'd essentially be earning another $4,000. It's like a hidden bonus built right into Emma's compensation package.
Okay, we're almost there. Time for the final and maybe most important reality check. All this money is just a number until we figure out what it can actually buy. Let's talk cost of living.
And when you put Austin and Manchester head to head, it's not even close. For a similar apartment, James is paying about $6,000 more every year. His grocery bill, almost $900 higher. And transportation, this one's huge. Because Austin is so car dependent, he's spending a whopping $5,000 more than Emma, who can just hop on public transit. I mean, these are your basic everyday costs, and they are just way, way higher for James.
All right, this is it. We have accounted for taxes, for healthcare, for the value of paid time off, and for the cost of living. It is time for the final tally. Let's see who really comes out on top. So just watch how James's massive on-paper salary just evaporates. He starts at that impressive $75,000. Bam, taxes take him down to $60,500. Then, boom, healthcare costs drop him again, down to around $57,000. And then the final blow. When we adjust for how much more expensive it is to live in Austin, his real, effective purchasing power, what he can actually buy with his money, lands at just $39,000.
And here it is, the final, absolutely wild result. James's real purchasing power is about $39,000. And Emma, with her lower costs of living, her purchasing power comes out to around $39,300. I mean, can you believe that? That gigantic 60% salary advantage that James started with? Poof, it's gone. It has completely disappeared. Financially, they are on a level playing field.
But you know what? The story doesn't even end there. Because numbers on a spreadsheet are one thing, but there's another factor that we can't ignore, and frankly, it might be the most important one of all, and that's financial risk.
Think about this number for a second. 100 million. That's how many Americans are currently carrying medical debt. For James, even with his insurance, one bad accident, one serious illness, it could financially ruin him. It could wipe out years of savings just like that. For Emma, that exact same medical emergency would cost her nothing, not a single penny.
And really, that's what we're talking about here. Financial security. It's that peace of mind. It's knowing that you're not one unlucky break away from a financial catastrophe. You could argue James has a higher potential to earn more down the line, but he also has a much, much scarier financial cliff he could fall off of if things go wrong. So let's go back to our original question. Who really comes out ahead? Who's richer? Is it the person with a bigger number on their paycheck? Or is it the person with guaranteed health care, more paid vacation, and the security of a safety net? The numbers on paper show it's basically a wash. But the real answer? Well, that really depends on what you value most, doesn't it?